What if the frantic race towards the future is the very thing keeping you from arriving? What if your desperate attempt to control every outcome is the one variable throwing your entire equation into chaos? The key to mastery is not to grasp tighter, but to release your grip with intelligence and purpose. Own time, master outcome, Stoic patience, mental strategy, compiled and published by Stoic Dominion. Lesson 1. The illusion of controlling outcomes. Imagine an archer standing on a windswept field. Her target is a small, distant point. She draws her bow, feeling the tension in the string and the wood. The world seems to narrow to a single line between her eye, the arrow, and the target. In this moment, she is a figure of perfect control, a portrait of focused intent. Yet, she is also a student of profound humility. She knows that once the arrow leaves the bow, it enters a world she does not command. A sudden gust of wind, a subtle shift in the air, an unseen imperfection in the arrow's fletching, any of these can alter its path. The final outcome, the thud of the arrow hitting the bullseye, is never truly, completely within her power. This brings us to one of the most painful inner conflicts of human existence, our desperate, clawing need to control outcomes. We operate under the delusion that if we just plan enough, worry enough, work hard enough, and manipulate events skillfully enough, we can guarantee the results we desire. We want the promotion, the successful business, the perfect relationship, the flawless execution of our plans. The problem statement is this: our obsession with the final outcome is a profound source of anxiety, frustration, and wasted energy. We live our lives like a frantic novice archer, trying to will the arrow into the target after it has already been fired. We replay past shots, agonizing over what we could have done differently. We stare at the target with such intensity that we neglect the single most important thing: the quality and intention of our next shot. This fixation on a future we cannot command robs us of our power in the only moment where power truly exists, the present. The transformative solution is to shift your entire focus from the target to the shot. It is to embrace the wisdom of the Stoic archer, who understands that true excellence lies not in hitting the bullseye, but in executing a perfect shot. The core idea behind this is the famous Stoic dichotomy of control, the practice of rigorously distinguishing between what is up to us and what is not. What is up to the archer? Her training, her focus, her breathing, the smooth release of the string. What is not up to her? The wind, the rain, the physics of the arrow's flight. The Stoic archer pours 100% of her energy into the things she can control and accepts the rest with a calm, unshakable peace. The potential benefit is nothing short of liberation. When you stop tying your self-worth and inner peace to uncontrollable outcomes, you become free. The anxiety of the future dissolves, replaced by a profound focus on present excellence. This ancient wisdom feels so alive today because our modern world is an engine designed to amplify our obsession with outcomes. Social media shows us curated results, success stories are stripped of their messy processes, and we are constantly urged to hustle harder to guarantee our future. The Stoic perspective is a revolutionary act of defiance against this pressure. It gently reminds us that our domain is effort, not results, intention, not reward. This doesn't mean you become passive or stop aiming for goals. On the contrary, you become far more effective because all the energy you once wasted on anxiety is now channeled into perfecting your craft, into making your every action one of quality and integrity. To begin this radical shift in focus, you must practice a mental discipline I call defining the shot. For the next week, for any important task you undertake, be it a presentation at work, a difficult conversation, or a personal project, you must pause before you begin. Take out a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. At the top, write down the desired outcome. For example, I want this presentation to impress my boss and lead to a promotion. Acknowledge that desire, then draw a firm line underneath it. Below that line, you will write the heading, My Perfect Shot. Under this new heading, list only the things that are 100% within your control. For the presentation, this might include: thoroughly research the topic, create clear and beautiful slides, practice my speech 10 times, get a good night's sleep beforehand, and speak with confidence and honesty. This list now becomes your sole focus. The desired outcome above the line is a wish, a hope, a target in the distance. The list below the line is your field of action, your sacred duty. Your goal for the week is to fall in love with the items on this second list. Pour your heart and soul into them. After the task is complete, judge yourself not on the outcome, but on how well you executed your perfect shot. Did you do everything on your list with excellence? If so, you are a success, regardless of what the wind did to your arrow. This practice slowly retrains your brain to derive satisfaction from your own actions, not from the fickle applause of the world. It is the first step toward building an inner core of self-respect that is immune to the whims of fortune. The illusion of controlling outcomes is the first chain we must break. By learning to focus on the shot and not the target, you reclaim your power. But this power must be wielded in its proper domain, the sovereign territory of the present moment. In our next lesson, we will explore how to truly inhabit this territory and why your sovereignty over the present is the key to all mental strategy. Before we journey there, take a moment to commit to this new practice. Share in the comments below one shot you are choosing to focus on this week. Your dedication inspires this community. Please, if you find value in this wisdom, subscribe to Stoic Dominion and like this video to help us reach others who are ready to take back their focus. Lesson 2. Your sovereignty over the present. Imagine a master weaver sitting at a grand loom. In front of her is a vast and intricate tapestry, a story told in 1,000 threads. The section of the tapestry that is already woven, the part that stretches out behind her, is the past. She can look at it, learn from its patterns and its mistakes, but she cannot unweave a single thread. The vast empty frame of the loom stretching out before her is the future. She has a design in mind, a vision she hopes to create, but it remains unformed, a realm of pure potential. Where then does her power lie? It lies in one and only one place. The single point where her hands meet the threads, the exact spot where the shuttle passes and a new line of the pattern is created. This single point of action is the present moment. Her mastery is not defined by her regrets about the past or her anxieties about the future, but by the skill, focus, and care she brings to that one single movement, right now. This brings us to a deeply human and painful inner conflict. We are haunted by the ghosts of the past and terrorized by the phantoms of the future. Our minds are rarely at the loom. Instead, they are wandering through the finished sections of the tapestry, picking at old knots of regret, wishing we had used a different color thread. Or they are racing ahead to the empty frame, imagining all the ways the pattern could go wrong, fearing we won't have enough thread, worrying that the final image won't match the one in our mind. The problem is that this mental time travel is not just a distraction. It is an abdication of our power. We abandon the one place where we are truly sovereign, the present, to be helpless tourists in realms we cannot change. We suffer from a chronic when-then sickness. When I get this promotion, then I'll be happy. When I solve this problem, then I'll be at peace. We postpone our lives, waiting for a perfect future, all while the loom of the present sits idle before us. The transformative solution is to consciously and deliberately claim your sovereignty over the present moment. It is to understand that the present is not a bridge to be crossed between the past and the future, but the destination itself. It is the only ground upon which you can stand, the only time in which you can act. The core idea is that all of your power is concentrated in the now. The past is a library for reference, and the future is a map of possibilities, but the present is the vehicle you are driving. To truly grasp this is to stop leaking your precious energy into the unchangeable and the unknowable. It is to bring all of your focus, all of your intelligence, all of your will to bear on the single point where the shuttle meets the threads. This wisdom, though ancient, is a powerful antidote to the fragmentation of modern life. Our technology, our work culture, our social interactions are all designed to pull us away from the present. Notifications ping, demanding our attention for a future task. Feeds scroll endlessly, showing us things that have already happened. The Stoic practice of presence is an act of rebellion. It is the gentle but firm declaration that your attention is your most valuable resource, and you will not squander it. It is the understanding that a life of excellence is not built in grand, future leaps, but in a long succession of well-lived present moments. When you are fully present, you are no longer a victim of time. You are its partner. To begin the practice of reclaiming your sovereignty, you must create anchors to the now. For the next week, your task is not to try and clear your mind or achieve some mystical state of constant presence. It is much simpler. Your task is to fully inhabit your sensory experience during mundane activities. Choose 1 or 2 daily routines, like brushing your teeth, washing the dishes, or your first cup of coffee in the morning. During these activities, your sole mission is to be the weaver at the loom. You must bring your full attention to the physical sensations of the moment. If you are washing dishes, feel the warmth of the water on your hands. Notice the scent of the soap. Hear the sound of the plate being scrubbed clean. See the iridescent bubbles. Your mind will wander. This is guaranteed. It will drift to a meeting later in the day or a conversation from yesterday. Do not fight it. Do not judge yourself. The practice is not to prevent the mind from wandering. The practice is to gently and kindly guide it back. Each time you notice your mind has left the present moment, simply say to yourself, "Wandering," and then gently guide your attention back to the sensation of the water, the scent of the soap. Each time you do this, you are strengthening a mental muscle. You are performing 1 repetition of the exercise of presence. You are training your mind to come home to the now. The benefit of this practice will begin as a subtle sense of calm and will grow into a profound source of strength. You will start to notice more detail, more beauty in your everyday life. The when-then sickness will begin to fade as you find that peace and contentment are available to you right now, not in some distant future. You will become more effective in your work and more engaged in your relationships because you are giving them the full gift of your attention. You are learning to sit at the loom of your life with the focused skill of a master, weaving a tapestry of quality, 1 present moment at a time. Claiming your sovereignty over the present provides you with the solid ground upon which all strategy must be built. But to act wisely in the present requires a resource that our modern world has almost completely eroded: patience. In our next lesson, we will explore how to dig a deep well of patience within yourself, transforming it from a passive act of waiting into a powerful strategic tool. If you are ready to claim your power in the now, declare in the comments, "My hands are on the loom." Let us know you are part of this journey. And please remember to subscribe to Stoic Dominion so you don't miss the next thread in this powerful tapestry. Lesson 3. The Deep Well of Patience. Imagine a gardener who plants the seed of a great oak tree. He does not stand over the patch of earth the next day, shouting at it, demanding that it grow faster. He does not dig it up every week to check on the progress of the roots. He does not pour gallons of water on it, hoping to accelerate a process that has its own sacred internal timeline. The wise gardener understands that his role is one of patient cultivation. He provides the right conditions, good soil, sufficient water, protection from blight, and then he trusts the process. He knows that the immense strength of the oak tree is born from slow, invisible, and deliberate growth. His patience is not empty waiting. It is an active, trusting partnership with time itself. Herein lies one of our most profound inner conflicts. We have been conditioned to believe that speed is a virtue in all things. We celebrate overnight success, we look for life hacks to shortcut processes, and we become intensely frustrated with anything that does not yield immediate results. We want the strength of the oak tree, but we want it with the speed of a weed. The problem statement is this: our chronic impatience is a strategic disaster. It makes us quit too early, make rash decisions, and abandon sound strategies simply because they have not yet borne fruit. We are like the foolish gardener, constantly digging up our seeds to see if they are growing, and in doing so, we guarantee they never will. This frantic need for instant gratification sabotages our most important long-term goals and fills our lives with the anxiety of a race with no finish line. The transformative solution is to cultivate a deep well of Stoic patience. This is not the passive, frustrating experience of waiting in line. This is strategic patience, an active and powerful tool. The core idea is that patience is a form of wisdom. It is the understanding that all important things in life, building a business, mastering a skill, cultivating a relationship, developing character, have a natural, unhurried rhythm. To be patient is to align yourself with this rhythm instead of fighting against it. It is a profound expression of trust in the process and in your own ability to tend to that process over the long term. This transforms patience from a sign of weakness, "I am just waiting," into a profound display of strength and confidence. I am so certain of the process that I do not need to rush the outcome. This ancient virtue is a radical counteragent to the frantic energy of our age. The world screams faster, but the Stoic wisdom whispers, smarter. It reminds you that the roots of the oak tree must grow deep and strong in the darkness before any significant growth can appear above ground. Much of the most important work you will ever do will be invisible to others for a very long time. Patience is the ability to keep tending to those roots, thus to keep doing the right things with no need for immediate validation or applause. It is the quiet confidence of the gardener who knows that if he does his part, the sun and the soil will do theirs. To begin digging your own deep well of patience, you must practice the art of planting and trusting. This week, identify one significant long-term goal in your life. It could be a health goal, a financial goal, or a skill you want to learn. Now, your task is to break down the process of achieving that goal into one or two small, repeatable actions that you can perform every day or every week. These are the equivalent of watering the seed. For example, if your goal is to write a book, your daily action might be to write for just 30 minutes. If your goal is to get physically fit, it might be to go for a 20-minute walk every day. Once you have defined these small, consistent actions, you must make a contract with yourself. You will focus 100% of your energy and attention on executing these daily actions with excellence. This is your sacred duty as the gardener. Here is the crucial part. You will consciously forbid yourself from obsessing over the outcome. You will not weigh yourself every day. You will not check your book sales every hour. You will plant your effort by performing the action, and then you will trust the process by releasing your anxiety about the result. Your only measure of success for the next month is, did I water the seed today? Yes or no? Nothing else matters. The benefit of this practice is a dramatic reduction in anxiety and an increase in sustainable effort. When you stop demanding immediate results, the pressure vanishes. The work itself becomes lighter, more enjoyable. You stop being a frantic, stressed-out sprinter and become a calm, powerful marathon runner. You will find that by slowing down, you actually achieve your goals more effectively because you don't burn out or quit in a fit of frustration. You are cultivating the quiet, unstoppable power of the oak tree, a strength born not of frantic speed, but of deep roots and strategic, unshakable patience. Patience gives you the endurance to see a plan through. But this endurance is most effective when it is guided by a clear and intelligent design. In our next lesson, we will move from the soil to the drawing board, learning how to create a blueprint for a powerful mental strategy. If you are ready to become a patient gardener of your own life, affirm it in the comments by writing, "I will trust the process." Your commitment helps our entire community to grow. Remember to subscribe to Stoic Dominion and turn on notifications to continue this journey with us. Lesson 4. A blueprint for mental strategy. Imagine a grandmaster of chess sitting before the board. She is not merely looking at the individual pieces. She sees the entire board as a dynamic field of energy, a web of interconnected possibilities. Her mind does not just react to her opponent's last move. Instead, she thinks several moves ahead, considering potential threats, preparing contingencies, and setting up long-term strategic advantages. She holds in her mind a blueprint, a flexible plan that guides her decisions. Her strategy is not a rigid set of instructions, but a living, breathing framework of principles that allows her to adapt and respond to the unfolding game with wisdom and foresight. This leads us to a common and debilitating inner conflict. We navigate our lives without a coherent strategy. We lurch from one situation to the next, reacting based on our immediate emotional state or the pressures of the moment. We are playing the complex game of life like a novice playing checkers, seeing only the obvious, immediate moves. The problem is that a life without a strategy is a life at the mercy of chance. We get easily overwhelmed by unexpected events. We make inconsistent decisions that work against our own long-term interests, and we feel a constant sense of being one step behind, perpetually reacting instead of proactively creating. We are fighting battles without a war plan, and as a result, we often lose wars we should have won. The transformative solution is to become the grandmaster of your own mind by developing a clear mental strategy. This is not about creating a rigid, unchangeable life plan. It is about establishing a personal blueprint of core principles and mental models that will guide your decisions and actions, especially under pressure. The core idea is that a well-defined strategy acts as a filter for the noise of life. It helps you distinguish between what is important and what is merely urgent. It provides a framework for making decisions that are aligned with your deepest values and long-term goals. It turns you from a reactive player into a thoughtful and deliberate strategist. This concept of creating a mental blueprint is central to the Stoic way of life. The Stoics were not passive philosophers. They were strategists of the mind. They developed principles like the dichotomy of control, amor fati, and premeditation malorum, the premeditation of evils, not as abstract theories, but as practical, strategic tools. These were the core principles in their mental blueprint, allowing them to navigate the often brutal and unpredictable game of Roman politics and society with grace and resilience. Your life is your chessboard. A mental strategy is what allows you to play it with intention and skill, rather than being a mere piece moved by an unseen hand. To begin crafting your own blueprint for mental strategy, you must first define your rules of the game. This week, set aside some quiet time for reflection. Your task is to answer 3 fundamental strategic questions. First, what is my ultimate definition of a win in the game of life? This is not about specific goals, but about the state of being you are aiming for. Is it a life of inner peace, a life of contribution, a life of wisdom? Be honest and write it down. Second, what are my non-negotiable principles? These are the rules you will follow, no matter the state of the game. Choose 3 or 4 core values, such as always act with integrity, or never sacrifice health for work, or choose courage over comfort. These are the strategic pillars that will keep you from making foolish moves in a panic. The third question is the most uniquely Stoic. What are my most likely challenges, and how will I prepare for them? This is the practice of premeditation malorum. Identify 2 or 3 recurring difficulties in your life, perhaps a difficult colleague, a tendency to procrastinate, or a specific anxiety. Now, for each one, create a simple, pre-planned response. For example, when my difficult colleague tries to provoke me, my pre-planned move is to pause, take a breath, and respond only to the business issue at hand, not to the emotional bait. This is not pessimism. It is strategic preparation. You are the grandmaster, anticipating your opponent's likely moves and preparing your defense in advance. The immense benefit of creating this blueprint is a feeling of clarity and control. Decision-making becomes simpler and less stressful because you are no longer starting from scratch every time. You have a framework to rely on. When unexpected events occur, you are less likely to be thrown into chaos because you have already considered your core principles and prepared for challenges. You will begin to navigate your life with a sense of purpose and foresight. You are no longer just reacting to the board. You are playing the game with the quiet confidence of a master who has a plan. A blueprint provides the design, but even the best design is useless without skillful execution. Strategy must be translated into action. In our next lesson, we will explore the importance of moving with a deliberate pace, ensuring that our actions are not just strategic, but also sustainable and effective. If you are ready to become the strategist of your own life, declare it in the comments. I am playing the long game. Your strategic intent strengthens us all. Please subscribe to Stoic Dominion to continue building your personal blueprint for a well-lived life. Lesson 5. The deliberate pace of action. Imagine a master craftsman in his workshop. He is building an intricate clock, a delicate mechanism of gears and springs. He does not rush. His movements are unhurried, economical, and precise. Every action is performed with the full weight of his attention. If he moves too quickly, he might misalign a gear. If he forces a piece into place, he might break a delicate spring. His pace is not slow out of laziness. It is deliberate out of wisdom. He understands that the quality and longevity of the clock depend not on the speed of its assembly, but on the precision of each individual step. His deliberate pace is a reflection of his respect for the work and his commitment to excellence. This image highlights a core inner conflict in our modern lives. We are addicted to busyness. We equate a frantic pace with productivity and importance. We rush from task to task, our minds already on the next thing before the current one is finished. We multitask constantly, believing we are being efficient. The problem statement is this: our obsession with speed is a direct enemy of quality and effectiveness. In our rush, we make careless mistakes that require us to do the work over again. We produce shallow, mediocre results because we do not give any single task our full attention. We burn ourselves out, mistaking the feeling of being busy for the reality of making progress. We are like the foolish craftsman, hastily assembling a clock that will never keep accurate time. The transformative solution is to cultivate a deliberate pace of action. This means consciously slowing down in order to move more effectively. It is the art of giving your full, undivided attention to the task at hand, whether it is writing an email, having a conversation, or chopping vegetables. The core idea is that true productivity is not about how many things you do, but about how well you do the one thing you are doing right now. A deliberate pace allows for precision, thoughtfulness, and a deeper level of engagement with your work. It paradoxically allows you to produce higher quality results in a more sustainable and less stressful way. This Stoic approach to action is a powerful rejection of the cult of the hustle. The Stoics believed in vigorous action, but not in frantic, thoughtless busyness. Marcus Aurelius frequently wrote about the importance of acting with a clause of reservation, meaning to act with full commitment, but to also be mindful and adaptable. This requires a mental space that frantic rushing simply does not allow. To move with a deliberate pace is to respect the present moment, to honor the task before you with the gift of your full presence. It is to understand that the foundation of a great achievement is not a flurry of activity, but a series of well-executed individual actions. To begin practicing the art of the deliberate pace, you must embrace the discipline of single-tasking. For the next week, your challenge is to fight the urge to multitask. When you sit down to perform a task, you must first remove all other distractions. Close the unnecessary tabs on your computer. Put your phone in another room or turn it on silent. Your goal is to create a clean, focused environment. Then set a timer for a manageable period, perhaps 25 minutes, a technique known as the Pomodoro technique. For those 25 minutes, you will dedicate your entire being to the single task before you. As you work, pay attention to the quality of your focus. Notice how your mind, accustomed to distraction, will try to wander. Just as we practiced in our lesson on presence, gently guide it back to the task. When the timer goes off, take a genuine 5-minute break. Stand up, stretch, look out the window. Then, you can reset the timer for another session. The key is to work in focused sprints, separated by real periods of rest. You are training your brain to operate in a new rhythm, one of deep, deliberate focus followed by intentional recovery. The benefits of this practice will be immediate and profound. You will notice that the quality of your work improves dramatically. You will make fewer mistakes. Ideas will come more clearly. Furthermore, your stress levels will decrease. The frantic, anxious energy of multitasking will be replaced by the calm, confident energy of focused work. You will end your day feeling not just busy, but truly productive, with a sense of accomplishment born from tangible, high-quality results. You are no longer the harried assembler of a shoddy product, but the master craftsman, building a legacy of excellence, one deliberate action at a time. A deliberate pace ensures our actions are sound, but even the best laid plans and most skillful actions will meet with unexpected outcomes. In our next lesson, we will learn the vital art of gracefully accepting what comes, the final piece in the puzzle of mastering outcomes. If you are ready to trade frantic busyness for deliberate action, commit to it now in the comments by writing "quality over speed." Your voice helps set the pace for our community. Please subscribe to Stoic Dominion to continue this journey toward masterful living. Lesson 6. Graceful acceptance of what comes. Imagine a wide, powerful river flowing from the mountains to the sea. Its path is not a straight line. When it encounters a small pebble, it flows around it without effort. When it meets a giant, unmovable boulder, it does not smash against it in a futile rage. It patiently pools its resources until it finds a way around, over, or through, its course altered, but its journey uninterrupted. The river does not complain about the obstacles. It does not wish the boulder wasn't there. It accepts the reality of the landscape and adapts its flow accordingly. Its power lies not in its ability to remove obstacles, but in its graceful, persistent, and fluid acceptance of the path as it is. This brings us to the final, and perhaps most difficult, inner conflict on our journey. We have a blueprint. We have acted with patience and a deliberate pace. But what happens when things still don't go our way? What happens when the boulder appears in our path? The project fails, the relationship ends, the diagnosis is given. Our instinct is to resist. We rage against the outcome. We are consumed by frustration, bitterness, and the endless agonizing question, why did this happen? The problem is that this resistance to reality is like a river trying to smash a boulder. It is a spectacular waste of energy that achieves nothing but its own exhaustion. It does not move the obstacle. It only churns our own waters into a chaotic, muddy mess. The transformative solution is to cultivate the art of graceful acceptance. This is the final and most profound application of the Stoic dichotomy of control. After you have done everything within your power, after you have perfected your shot, acted with patience, and executed your strategy, you must gracefully release your attachment to the outcome and accept what comes. The core idea is that acceptance is not defeat. It is the highest form of wisdom. It is the recognition that the universe is a far larger and more complex system than your personal desires. To accept what comes is to align yourself with reality, to stop the futile war against what is. This is the moment the river stops fighting the boulder and starts looking for a new path. This ancient practice of acceptance is the key to all resilience. It is the mechanism that allows you to absorb the shocks of life without breaking. It is not about pretending you are not disappointed or hurt. The river feels the pressure of the boulder. Acceptance is about feeling those emotions without letting them define your next move. It is the ability to say, "This has happened. It is not what I wanted. Now, what is the most intelligent and virtuous way forward from here?" This response keeps you in a position of power. It keeps you fluid, adaptable, and ready for the next phase of the journey, rather than being stuck, raging at an immovable past. To begin the practice of graceful acceptance, you must create a post-action ritual. After any significant event where the outcome is now out of your hands, you must consciously perform this ritual. Find a quiet space. First, allow yourself to feel whatever emotion arises. Acknowledge the disappointment, the frustration, the sadness. Give it a name. Say to yourself, "I am feeling disappointed right now." This act of naming prevents the emotion from completely overwhelming you. Second, you must formally acknowledge the boundary between your effort and the outcome. You can say aloud, "I did everything that was within my control. The rest was not up to me." This is a powerful statement of intellectual honesty that reinforces the Stoic principle. The final and most important step of the ritual is to ask the question that turns acceptance into a creative act. Given this new reality, what is my best next move? This question immediately shifts your brain from a state of passive rumination about the past into a state of active, strategic thinking about the future. You are prompting your mind to be the river, to start exploring the new landscape. Perhaps the failed project revealed a flaw in your strategy that you can now correct. Perhaps the ended relationship has created space for personal growth. Your job is to look for the new path, not to keep staring at the boulder. The benefit of this ritual is the cultivation of a truly anti-fragile spirit. You will find that you bounce back from setbacks more quickly and with less emotional turmoil. Your sense of self-worth will become completely detached from your successes and failures, grounded instead in the quality of your effort and the wisdom of your responses. You will move through life with the powerful, fluid grace of the river, your inner peace, undisturbed by the inevitable obstacles in your path. You become a master of adaptation. Graceful acceptance closes the loop of our strategy. But all these elements, patience, strategy, action, and acceptance, operate within the grand arena of time itself. In our final lesson, we will explore what it means to achieve a true mastery of time, transcending the frantic race and living in a state of timeless presence. If you are ready to stop fighting reality and start flowing with it, share your commitment in the comments by writing, "I am the river." Your pledge adds to the current of our community. Please subscribe to Stoic Dominion for the final lesson in owning your time and mastering your outcome. Lesson 7. The mastery of time itself. Imagine a masterful conductor leading a grand orchestra. She does not play every instrument, yet she is in command of the entire symphony. With a subtle gesture, she can summon the thunder of the percussion or quiet it to a whisper. With a focused gaze, she draws out the soaring melody of the violins. She is not creating the sound herself, but she is shaping its flow, its rhythm, its emotional arc. She is not a slave to the metronome, frantically trying to keep up, nor is she a passive listener, subject to the whims of the musicians. She is in a state of dynamic harmony with the music, both leading it and being led by it. She has achieved a mastery of timing. This conductor is your ideal self, and the orchestra is the flow of your life. This brings us to the ultimate inner conflict, our relationship with time itself. We experience time as a relentless tyrant. It is either slipping through our fingers too quickly, causing us anxiety about all we have not yet done, or it is dragging its feet too slowly, trapping us in a state of boredom and impatience. We feel perpetually out of sync. We are always rushing to catch up to a future that hasn't happened, or longing for a past that is gone. The problem is that we see time as an external force that happens to us, an enemy to be conquered, or a commodity that is always in short supply. This adversarial relationship with time is the root cause of much of our stress and dissatisfaction. We are players in the orchestra, fighting the conductor's tempo. The transformative solution, the final and highest wisdom of our journey, is to cultivate a mastery of time itself. This is achieved by transcending the linear view of past, present, future, and learning to live in what could be called kairos, or opportune qualitative time. The core idea is that mastery of time does not mean managing every second perfectly in a calendar. It means learning to inhabit the present moment so fully, with such deep focus and acceptance, that the frantic ticking of the clock fades into the background. It is about becoming the conductor who is so absorbed in the quality of the music being made right now that the concepts of before and after lose their tyrannical power. This state of being is the culmination of all our previous lessons. It is the archer so focused on the shot that time slows down. It is the weaver so present at the loom that the past and future disappear. It is the gardener whose patient trust makes him immune to the anxiety of waiting. It is the grandmaster whose strategic foresight allows him to act with unhurried wisdom. When all these skills are integrated, you stop living in time and you start living with time. You enter a state of flow, a harmonious partnership with the unfolding of reality. You become the conductor, shaping the symphony of your life with graceful intention. To begin your practice as the conductor of your own time, you must introduce a ritual of symphonic review at the end of each day. This is a final, quiet moment of reflection before sleep. Your task is not to create a to-do list for tomorrow or to agonize over today's failures. Instead, You will ask yourself two simple qualitative questions. The first is, where did I find harmony today? Think back through your day and identify one moment, no matter how small, where you felt completely in sync. Perhaps it was during a focused work session, a heartfelt conversation, or simply while watching a sunset. Relive that feeling of flow, of being the conductor in perfect harmony with the orchestra. The second question is, where was there discord today? Identify one moment where you felt rushed, anxious, impatient, or out of sync with time. Notice the feeling without judgment. What was the cause? Were you trying to control an outcome? Were you impatient with a process? Were you mentally living in the future or the past? Your goal is not to shame yourself, but simply to gather information, like a conductor listening back to a recording to identify a section that needs more practice. This daily review gently trains your awareness to recognize the feeling of being in and out of harmony with time. The profound benefit of this practice is a fundamental shift in your entire experience of life. The constant, low-grade anxiety of running out of time will begin to evaporate. You will find that you have more than enough time when you inhabit each moment fully. Your life will feel richer, deeper, and more meaningful because you are no longer just trying to get through it. You are composing it. You are moving from being a frantic, stressed-out musician, lost in the noise, to becoming the calm, masterful conductor, guiding the beautiful, complex, and unique symphony of your one precious life. From the illusion of control to the mastery of time itself, you have journeyed through the core of Stoic strategy. You now understand that power lies not in controlling outcomes, but in mastering your own actions, patience, and perceptions. You have the blueprint to own your time and become the architect of your fate. Thank you for dedicating your time and focus to this journey. The path to mastery is a daily practice, and your commitment to it strengthens our entire community. If this wisdom has resonated with you, please like the video, share your insights in the comments, and subscribe to Stoic Dominion to continue composing the symphony of your well-lived life.